Hey everybody, EDGYTIM here. Appreciate you stopping on by and checking out and watching another edition of Now What? Well, been pretty busy. Obviously, this is coming out late in the week, so I apologize for being a little bit delayed on this. But as I've mentioned, a lot going on, and I'll get into it. Some of it high school football related, some of it Twitter related. Yeah, it's been one of those weeks. So let's start. The biggest subject on the table, obviously, is what is the latest, kind of what's going on with the Let Us Play movement, trying to get some form and semblance of high school football back in the fall. And again, I thought we kind of covered a lot of that with my podcast with Derek Parrish from channel1450.com down in Springfield. The movement continues. There have been smaller rallies going on all this week. I know many of you are following Joe Trost, so he's certainly one of the spearhead of the campaign. So those are going to continue from a football standpoint, a coach's standpoint. I'll be honest, I think it's kind of dying out here. I just think we're running out of time, which, look, we knew going into this, it was a third and long. I've said this for about a week now. I think the last play that's in the playbook, and again, sorry for the heavy football references, but what the hell? We're talking about football, sort of. So I think we have one play left, and I think that's the Hail Mary, which is I think someone's going to file a lawsuit and someone's going to take this thing to court. And again, I'm no lawyer. Although I should have went to law school, I should have went to medical school, I should have been a politician to cover high school football. Obviously I'm no lawyer, but sometimes these work, sometimes they don't. But I really think it's the last chance, and I know there's still a lot of people talking about, well, what about if we start now and it's too late? And I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I still am of the opinion, and everyone that I've talked to, kids, parents, coaches in particular, I'd rather start in October and finish in mid-December than start in early February. It's a big ask. I hate to tell you, but the weather is just as miserable. I think more miserable in a lot of times in early mid-February than it is here in December. Either way, it's regardless. Either time of the year, you're in winter, so. But anyway, so it seems like we're running out of time. I know there's a few lines of thought out there. I know there's been mention of, I think it's Pennsylvania might be doing this, where they're playing 4 or 5 games in the fall, then coming back and continuing with a season in the spring. That, I guess, is a possibility. So again, I'm holding out very little hope that we'll get something done in the fall. I think the high school football coaches that I've had interactions with on a regular basis kind of feel the same way now. So we'll see. So I think what the focus from the coaches involved in this movement now is going to be, you're going to see them pivot from trying to get something going in the fall to, okay, can we now start looking at spring and trying to figure out exactly how this is going to work? What's it going to look like? What's the scheduling going to look like? And the one thing that seems to be a sticking point for a lot of the coaches, and I don't know if it's going to get resolved this year at all, coaches want to have a postseason tournament, and it's understandable. It's football. You play to win. You play to win a state title. The whole regional, and again, we go back in July when it was mentioned that, football is going to be delayed or postponed, and they can play in the spring, but it's looking like a 7-game regular season and a 2-game postseason again. No idea who that came from. I think the coaches are now going to push to at least get a time frame and a reference of when we can have a season. So if it's 9 weeks, if it's 11 weeks, if it's 14 weeks, let these guys know and let them work whatever the parameters are. I think that's fair. I can tell you, I know for a fact that none of that has been discussed. I can tell you from everything that I've heard that there's been nothing coming from the IHSA regarding spring football. And folks, that is a concern because, as we mentioned, we're in September, going to October. Then basketball is maybe going to start firing up, and that's a whole other storyline we're going to have to follow. I know wrestling's already looking to move to late spring, early summer. I don't know if basketball gets going or not, but basketball is a whole different beast. We'll get into it to another time. But at least the football coaches are kind of trying to take control of this, trying to lead a bit more with the IHSA and try to come up with at least a plan that everyone can work with and work under. And again, look, everybody understands in this pandemic, things are going to change and they change rapidly in some cases. So it's understandable if things have to change, but the thought is at least have a plan, a workable plan. I don't know. And again, there's so many different questions. How do you work in a spring season now that we're jammed into this time frame? I've already read where some IHSA sports are being allowed to extend out of the whole regional thing, which is great. But if baseball is getting a full season, if basketball is going to attempt to play a full season, can we as football play a full season? I'm going to guess not. And I don't want to be the IHSA to try to manage all that. It's just kind of ridiculous. And then I think an even bigger question on line here is, okay, you play in the spring, you play your 9 weeks or whatever it's going to be. Do you have, let's say you finish in early May, and we've talked about this before, but if you finish in early May, what do you have, 30 days or so, and then turn around and start your 25 contact days for the actual 2021 season in the fall of 2021? No one knows. And again, the scary thing is none of this has been discussed. I don't even know if this was discussed when football was originally moved from the fall. You know, did someone look at this and say, "Hey, okay, we're going to play in the spring instead of the fall"? But what do we do about the next fall? No one knows. So hopefully, as I mentioned, I think the coaches are going to pivot now towards putting a lot of focus on spring, trying to get some answers from the IHSA and working with them to try to figure out what's going on in the spring. And as I mentioned early on with this let us play. I think the next movement might be let us move, but let us play movement is the coaches are really working together. It's been very encouraging. There's been a lot of, and it's something I really didn't even get into, but a lot of administrators are not thrilled with their coaches about how involved and publicly involved they've been with this. So there's a lot of pressure on the coaches. It's amazing how much pressure is being put on these guys to just kind of stand down a little bit. But to their credit, they're sticking to their guns. And so again, it's an interesting dynamic for sure that's been going on. Hopefully we can start getting a little bit clearer of a picture for spring and some answers. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I'm hoping that comes sooner, certainly rather than later. So I mentioned that I've been busy with the Sunday showcase camps. We've got 2 in the books. I think they both have gone very well. I think what surprises people a little bit is how aware we are of the regulations. Yes, we require masking. No, we are not doing linemen one-on-one specifically. Why? Because according to the return to play policy, they're not allowed. So that's what we're going to do. I know there's other camps that are going to do their own thing and to hell with the rules and the COVID rules. That's up to them. I think it's only fair and appropriate that we should follow. And my partner Elias from EFT agreed that we're following the same protocol that the high school coaches have to follow. I think it's only fair. And it's all about safety, honestly. If it's the safest way we can conduct a camp, keep kids as safe as we can, follow the social distancing rules and the protocol. It's what I'm going to do. So no regrets. Again, both sessions have been sold out. This coming Sunday, we have a handful of lineman openings. Outside of that, every other position's full. So again, really good turnout, really good series so far, and the kids have given great feedback. So that's been keeping me busy. Then yesterday, good old Twitter. So I go out to my Twitter account at about noon, ironically enough, going to cut my grass. So I want to get a little quick check into Twitter, and I go out there, and I'm locked out of my Twitter account. I mean, locked out of my Twitter account. And I received one message that said, your account has been temporarily restricted due to possible suspicious activity. So I'm like, okay, did I get hacked? Were things sent out of that account that I'm not aware of? It's kind of a scary moment, honestly. So that happened about noon. And here's a little tutorial for everybody. There is no Twitter help desk. There is no 1-800 customer service line for Twitter. There's an e-form. There's basically an email form, and God bless after that. So yeah, there is very little, if zero, customer support out of Twitter. I filled out the online form and explained exactly what happened. About 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I was able to get back into my account. Everything seemed to be there. My followers were still there. It was working properly. Except that everyone that I was following was down to 0. So all these kids and prospects and coaches and everyone else that I follow on my Twitter account, and I'm up to about 5,200 that I'm following, so it's quite sizable. And again, certainly there needs to be some purging one of these days, but I generally don't unfollow anybody. But that's for a whole another show and another day. But so I've kind of crazy, just going through and trying to follow and refollow everyone as much as I possibly could. I got up to about 300-400 last night, so I thought I made progress. Well, surprise, surprise, I get up this morning, I turn on my phone, I go to my Twitter, and voila, all the numbers are back. So, and best of all, no explanation, no nothing from Twitter. So I don't know if the Russians hacked my phone. I don't know if Deep Dish Pizza hacked my phone. I have no idea. So just a crazy 24 hours or so, which I just thought was really funny and a little bit scary, because then it made me realize just how much I use and rely on Twitter for what I do every single day. And it's a little more than I care to admit, honestly. So that was yesterday. So the rest of the week, again, I'm kind of working in conjunction with the group that started Let Us Play. So I'll be able to provide you hopefully some insights of what's going on very shortly. That will continue. Again, I'm very honored and happy just thrilled to be a part of that and help any way I can. So that'll continue. And then I have another Sunday showcase this upcoming Sunday. I know there's another local camp on Saturday I'm going to probably try to get to on Saturday. So again, lots of things going on here. We'll continue to stay busy. So that's it for now. So again, stay tuned. Follow me on Twitter. At your own peril. No, I'm kidding, really. But thanks everybody for the support. Thanks for continuing to subscribe. I'll keep throwing as much content as I can at you. And again, ever need to get a hold of me, at EDGYTIM. If I follow you, even on the message boards, you can drop me messages. I'm always glad to hear from you with any questions or problems. Always try to resolve it as best we can. So thanks everybody. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.